Was that a snake, Karen? Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. Today I've got some amazing venomous snake TikToks lined up. I'm going to break them down in the most educational way I possibly can, but as always, I would like to hear from you in the comments. Let's dive in.
No, don't go away. I want you. Come here. Oh, Lord, help me, Jesus. Ow! Take it off. I want to take them. Looking for the camera. You're videoing.
That was an insane thing to do, even if you think you know the kind of snake. I mean, you really should 100% know before you touch it. It took me right until the end till I understood what had happened there. As you can see, that rattlesnake is missing its rattle, so this lady has thought it's not rattling, not a rattlesnake. But, you know, you need to use more than one step to identify an animal to stay safe.
A stunning splash of green in a sea of brilliant blue. Comada Grande, off the coast of Brazil, is a tempting patch of paradise. But this place, better known as Snake Island, is off limits. All about...
I've got to stop here because I'm surprised and confused that Aussies are making on watching spine-tingling documentaries about snakes in other countries.
From landing here, unless you have special clearance. If the signs don't warn you off, the residents will. All 4,000 of them. Hidden in the trees and camouflaged on the ground, these are the golden lancehead vipers, one of the top 10 deadliest snakes in the world. You don't want to be bitten by these snakes.
With these snakes, it will be a particularly painful death. You're going to die screaming.
I often hear people describe the golden lancehead as deadly, but I'm actually going to dispute calling them deadly because I couldn't find a single record of someone passing away from one. Even if I missed a record, it's still not something that happens, you know, regularly because there'd be statistics and numbers on it, and no one lives there. So they're not really deadly if they're not killing anyone, to be frank. I would say that I do believe their venom to be more potent than, for example, that of a fer-de-lance, because they've evolved a fast-acting venom which has to be potent because they eat birds. So, you know, a bird can fly away, so you've got to have a venom that acts quickly. But I would still not think that their venom is as potent as that of some elapids.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
That was quite an interesting and unfortunate clip there. You can see that she was wearing flip-flops. I see so many bite videos with flip-flops involved. It just goes to show that if you live in an area where there are snakes like copperheads or rattlesnakes, accidents can happen. You have to have something firm on your feet all the time, even if it's just popping out in the evening for 2 seconds to let the dog out or something like that. You've got to be protected, and this is why education is so important, and being strict with yourself, not just saying to yourself, oh, it'll be okay.
Kom even mee. Ik wil niet iets stonks gebruiken, dan breek me ze rubber. Oops. Nou, waarom more nou?
Just to let you know what's happening here, this is a snake remover rescuing a Cape Cobra, and to me that looks like stale water. So the reason that the snake keeps getting away from him, the reason it's so slippery, is that the water is probably full of algae. It's probably like slimy to the touch. This snake is probably like greased lightning right now.
Ik kan je met onder die water verdwijnen.
I think he was relieved to finally get it in the tube, get it away safely. Personally though, I was just amazed at the snake. It was giving him the slip, turning around, facing him. It went underwater at one point. It had all the moves and it knew it was in kind of like a situation that was to its advantage.
Did you know that snakes naturally float? Take this gaboon viper, for example, one of the heaviest bodied snakes on the planet. Watch as I drag her across the surface of my guest room's bathtub. You'll notice she stays on the surface of the water the whole time.
Yep, that makes sense, because most snakes have just one big long lung along 2/3 of their body. But yeah, they're like a balloon animal in some senses, not most senses, but in that sense anyway. And we know that some snakes will, for example water snakes, they'll disperse over like 2 kilometers further than they actually want to be when there's a flood. They'll just get carried away. And we also know that some boas and elapids have reached new islands in the Caribbean and the Pacific, we think by floating, albeit with the help of mats of vegetation.
Udah dok. डील कर थोड़ी ढीली कर जाती ढीली कर राव थांब आरामात
They saw a Russell's Viper and I cut some of that clip out. You can see that there's all these kind of areas to hide around the cars and these areas to hunt and stuff, and this Russell's Viper is kind of curled up there. Now what actually happened is it bit their dog, and in one part of the clip the dog was kind of in the process of passing away, basically bleeding from its mouth, and I thought that was a little bit disturbing, so I cut that out because it's not, you know, we don't need more gore than is necessary, do we? And these guys have actually called some professionals, they've asked for help to get rid of this snake, and I think that's pretty incredible really, because some people would react out of anger straight away, but if you do react out of anger and try to kill the snake, you put yourself and potentially those around you at more risk. A lot of bites statistically happen when people try and kill a snake, and the best option is to stay the heck away until you can get, you know, the best help available. So they acted, even though that was a pretty horrible situation, they acted with very cool heads there. Next up we have perhaps the person who is the most requested on this channel. He is probably one of the calmest, most influential snake catchers that does it in a nice way to the animals.
Okay, let's very quietly go up, have a look around and try not to stick my head right into the face of a mamba.
So this is of course Jason Arnold, a South African snake catcher, entering a loft that frankly could look like anyone's loft anywhere, except for over the course of this video you figure out that this one has 3 black mambas in.
Door here. Obviously I've got the snake, so it's secure, and the head is over there under these packets. Just waiting for it to poke its little head out some way. Come on. Right here.
So if you're wondering why he's got the snake by the lower third of the body, why he just doesn't yank it out and pull it until it comes out, it's because when snakes are wrapped around something, they don't think like we do. If you keep pulling and try and pull them out, they'll damage their own muscles sooner than they release their hold on something. They just don't have that thought pattern that we have that says, oh, I'm going to tear my tendon or my bicep out. They'll just carry on until you do irreversible damage to them.
Alright. Okay, I'm going to put the torch down for a second, guys.
Just to clarify one thing here as well, he's got it by the head with the snake tongs, but those snake tongs, they've got a little gap at the end. So he's not crushing the snake's esophagus or anything like that. He's got the snake tongs together like that. He's got it over the snake's neck, and the snake's head is too wide to pull back through the gap. So the snake is perfectly okay, there's nothing to worry about.
Sorry, I mean, put the phone down for a second, guys. Alright, Ems, I think you can take the torch off now, thank you. Well, thank you to Emily for being such a brave girl. Can't see you shining the torch. You're shining the torch into the thing. Anyway, there she is standing on the ladder with her head up in the ceiling. Okay, shine on the snake, please. And she was able to just hold the torch for me. And she was able to just give me some light while I had the snake by the tail with one hand and needed to operate the grab stick with the other hand.
Now check out the size of the mamba as he brings it down the stairs. This is well above the size it needs to be to deliver a fatal bite. So that really puts in perspective the risks he's willing to take to help people with these snakes in their homes.
Is it the roof?
What's a black mamba?
With a black mamba in hand. Nice fun. Must be very dark, Ems. The lighting is not very good here. But follow me, go reverse backwards into the lounge, where the lighting is a bit better.
I'm also just trying to watch where I'm going.
Yeah, of course. People are going to be very happy.
So there you have it. You can see the full video on his channel, of course. He is a very calm, relaxed, non-dramatic guy who is doing good work and doing it under considerable risk, really. So all round, I mean, just fantastic.
This is a Paraguayan rattlesnake, Crotalus durissus terrificus. This one is kind of an unusual.
I'm still doing it.
Yep, still doing it. Oh, we can do a lot of snakes. And it takes a lot of venom for a significant amount of
That was Kentucky Reptile Zoo, who are kind enough to watch the channel, which is nice, because, you know, they seem to be quite busy. And they were milking a snake that has a lot of common names, so I won't get into that debate, but it's Crotalus durissus terrificus. And here's what I know so far about their venom, despite, you know, me not being a biochemist. Apparently it has a neurotoxin called crotoxin, which has two subunits. There's subunit A and subunit B, CA and CB. Apparently CB is the one that has this cancer-fighting activity at certain doses, not at very high doses, and it causes some cancer cells to either stop or to die through apoptosis. So, that didn't look like a spectacularly exciting clip, but it is important because all of us either know someone or will know someone affected by cancer in our lifetimes. And the cancer in question there, non-small cell lung cancer, is one that can get you even if you've never smoked a cigarette once in your entire life. So that was a black-tailed rattlesnake, and I was looking up that species because, frankly, I don't really know much about it. I have knowledge on some rattlesnakes, but that one has kind of gone under the radar for me. And I was looking at the scientific name. It is Crotalus molossus. And that word, molossus, reminded me of a word in French, which is molos. And molos in French means mastiff, or big, intimidating dog, basically. And I thought that was a little bit strange. So I looked it up, and apparently molossus is taken from the Greek molossos, and the only reason I could find was one, I can't remember what it was, an article said that the people who originally described the snake found it to be stockier and more intimidating than other rattlesnakes in the area. I'm not really sure I can see that, but I just thought it was interesting enough to tell you.
The first time I saw a rattlesnake, I was in grass just like this. Let me tell you some of the lessons I've learned. The first lesson is most snake bites happen when a person gets too close, either purposely or accidentally, and the snake strikes at them. That's fairly obvious, right? But when you see a snake, the first thing you should do is freeze. Sudden and close movement can startle the snake as well as yourself. Secondly, most snakes will never chase you, especially if you give them room to leave. So give them plenty of space and they'll leave because they don't want to mess with you. And let's keep in mind that a lot of people get bit when they're trying to take pictures for social media and stupid stuff like that. So leave them be. Don't pick them up. Don't try to kill them. Just let them go and be on their way. And here's a bonus tip for you. If you're in thick brush, shuffle your feet or tap the ground with a stick. That lets snakes know you're coming. They don't want to meet you either. What happened to me when I was in tall grass like this is that the grass right out in front of me was shaking. I could see it and I could hear the rattlesnake rattling. So I just backed out of the area, let it know that I was leaving, and it went on its way. So here's the thing. Most snakes do more good than harm, so let them be. They'll eat ticks, they'll eat mice. Some snakes even kill other venomous snakes. So next time you see one, respect it, avoid it, and just keep on moving.
That seemed like pretty sound, common sense advice from someone who obviously spends a lot of time outdoors. It was great.
All right, so we just found this Rhabdophis, and this is a snake that is simultaneously venomous and poisonous. Normally somebody says, oh, it's a poisonous snake. They're incorrect. Because normally we say there are no poisonous snakes, they're venomous, because poison is ingested, venom is injected. But this snake does both. See that yellow stuff at the neck right there? So that is actually a poison that they sequester from toads that they eat. Oh, look at that, look at that. So cool. And so not only can he bite you with a venomous bite that'll make you bleed from your orifices and have a horrible death or potentially deadly, but they also secrete a poison from the neck as well. So poisonous and venomous. This is so cool. This is a snake that I really, really, really wanted to see.
The red-necked keelback is very similar to the tiger keelback, being in the same genus, and they both sequester poison from toads in what is a case of kleptotoxicism, which just means stealing toxins for your own use. And overall, I think this is really, really fascinating. For now, it's very, very unusual, but my personal prediction is that over the years, with more study, we'll find many more species of snakes that do this. It just doesn't make sense for just a few toad-eating snakes to do this when there's literally hundreds of species that eat toads.
Yesterday. Dit is die mekaar. Ek het 'n tong hier, maar as jy sy ribbes knyp met die tong, dan breek sy ribbes en vrek hy in die vel. Het jy daai jump in?
Ek weet jy seker.
Yes.
Hy drom nou wat hom so aggressief maak. En hy drywe potte wat hom 'n bietjie nou die mekaar maak. Was hy netjies.
Such a change, isn't it, when it just dashes into a hiding place to get away? Honestly, I'll never stop being amazed at how puff adders can strike in these wild, backward, sideways directions and just surprise you and literally move their whole body. It was almost like it jumped.
Jangan itu. Hey.
Let me guess, this is one of those accounts that's going to tell us it's educational.
Oh my gosh, I mean, you guys are gonna look at me at home and think, man, this guy's crazy. This is years and years and years in the making, finally getting to film this native elapid to the US. Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic little snakes. Oh my gosh, folks. This is spectacular. Look at this beauty. Those bright warning colors are there to serve as an extreme warning. Danger, danger, danger. I have a horribly venomous bite. I can mess up your day if you get too close. And that's why I'm holding this end of the coral snake and not that end. Because although these animals are incredibly shy and secretive, in an event like this animal doesn't know I'm just here to film it and then let it on its way. It thinks I'm maybe hungry for a little bit of coral snake. And it's gonna defend its life if it feels like it really needs to.
Interesting approach there at the end, but yeah, gotta love his enthusiasm. The eastern coral snake I just think is an exceptionally beautiful snake. I see a lot of people handling them, and it does make me wonder if sometimes people forget that people have died from their bite.
We were exploring the swamps of South Carolina trying to find the craziest insects we could. I was walking across this log when my brother said, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, stop, turn to the left." This cottonmouth was sitting in the tree right next to me and I didn't even see him, which goes to show how good of camouflage they have. I slowly snuck past him. Then I saw this tree with a bunch of strange holes in it, but the signs looked super familiar.
Copperhead, huh? I'm hoping someone in the comments can tell me what species of snake that was.
What's crazy is that when fertile ants are babies, the little tip of their tail is yellow, and they will use that to lure in prey. They'll just sit in the leaves, completely camouflaged, wiggle that back and forth, something will come close, they can strike out, and then they've got a meal. Now, even as a very small juvenile like this snake is still incredibly dangerous. Its venom is just as potent as an adult, and while the venom yield may not be as high, it would still be a medical emergency. Now in this curled up pose like that, you can see this S-shaped design. That snake is ready to launch and strike.
I hear a lot of people call Bothrops asper, or the terciopelo, the fer de lance, and I also hear a lot of people call Bothrops atrox the fer de lance as well, which other people call the common lancehead. There's also another lancehead that has fer de lance in its Latin name. It's binomial, I believe, but people don't seem to mention that one often. Most people call the terciopelo the fer de lance, but I'd love to get kind of a little poll going in the comments so we can settle this once and for all. Also, Coyote's let me down a bit there. I much prefer it when he lets stuff bite him.
Meet the blue pit viper. Rare, stunning, and deadly. Have you ever seen a snake so blue, it looks like it came straight out of a fantasy world? This incredible blue predator lives on small islands in Indonesia. It's not just beautiful, it's dangerous. Its venom can cause extreme pain and swelling, but with medical care, it's rarely fatal. Mostly active at night, it hides in trees and strikes silently.
Was that very first one AI, or am I getting too suspicious now?
What in the world am I looking at right here?
You start rattling until you pulled
up. Would you like for me to identify these for you? These are rattlesnakes.
Yeah.
How long have you had these?
15 years.
15 years. And you just hold them and just...
Yeah, they're my snakes. This is killing me, really, to get rid of them. I don't...
This is killing you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy runs a channel called Snakes R Us TV, and he rescues snakes, and he's basically come to meet this guy who's got some timber rattlers, and he's gonna, take them in, but this guy's had them 15 years, he's tamed them, but some of the stuff he says is just completely wild, and the way he handles them is completely wild as well.
Yes, these are timber rattlesnakes. These are timber rattlesnakes, and so how long have you had these? You didn't just catch these snakes today. You've had these snakes for how long?
About 15 years.
About 15 years.
It was an accident. I found them, took them home to show a friend. 15 years later, here we are. Just happened to...
At this point, I'm kind of thinking, they're incredibly tame. It's amazing what he's done. It's amazing that he can handle them this freely, even though I think it's an absolutely terrible idea. But then he tells a story afterwards, and I just think, you know what? None of this makes sense.
Just couldn't get rid of me.
Okay, now here's the question I have to ask. Have you ever been bit?
I let this one bite me one time right there.
How bad was it?
Well, I was drunk, and it's only right after you feed them, they get feisty.
Yeah. So hang on, you were drunk. Okay, so he was drunk, okay? Don't be drinking and handling venomous snakes.
So anyways, I stuck my hand in there, and he bit me right there. Woke up the next morning, my hand was swollen up, and there was two drops, lines of blood. And I was like, uh-oh, and I was gonna do the X, cut it with the knife. That hurt too bad.
Yeah, we don't do that, yeah.
So by the end of the day, it hadn't gotten any worse, and then by the next day, it had gone down.
Yeah, my best advice is to not do anything this guy does or says. He seems like a nice guy, but this is the stuff that gets into newspapers. This is the stuff that gets keeping venomous snakes banned. It's just not good all round. Anyway, that was the video for today. I really hope you enjoyed it. I'll be back next week with something hopefully just as interesting. Thank you very much.